Okay, second hour. So, I showed you how binary search works, and apparently half of you have done it in HSC. How many of you have done it in HSC? I should have asked that first. No one's going to own up? None of you have done it. No. How many of you did binary search in HSC? 1, 2, 3, we're there. So some of you should come down here and write the code. Good idea. No. All right, so let's take a look at how we implement it. And I think if I try the same trick with, this is my binary search, 15 random, what? Oh yes, no, I can't do it. I was going to demonstrate what happens if you have 15 numbers in random order, and the binary search will do ridiculous things. Sometimes it'll find it, sometimes it won't, even if it exists. So the reason it doesn't find it is because the array has to be in sorted order. So eventually I changed the interface so you couldn't make random arrays. You have to make them in sorted order. So let's just check. Not found, good. Even though it's obviously there. 29, not found, good. 16, not found. So obviously this code also doesn't have the algorithm implemented. So let's go and implement. Search 2, we need search 3. Right, so binary search, same interface as before. Notice it takes in an array of integers of size n and searches for a key, which happens to be denoted by x. The main program is different. It has less arguments because it doesn't let you choose random orders. You can only do binary search on a sorted array, and it has to be sorted in ascending order unless you want to switch around the tests. We insert values in and then we search for them. Oh, and the other thing I didn't point out before, at the end, once you've finished using an object that you create with malloc, you should always free it. So we free up the numbers array at the end. Alright, so here's the idea for binary search. So while we haven't exhausted places to look, what do we do? Alright, so while we haven't exhausted our focus, how do we implement that? It's going to be some kind of relationship between lower and upper. And I would suggest that while lower is greater than, possibly, or equal to upper. Sorry, well, lower is less than or equal to upper. So while there's something to look at, then find the midpoint. I gave you the expression for doing that before. So the midpoint is just low plus high divided by 2. Gives us the index of the middle element in the array. And then we look at what the deal is with this particular element. Alright, so if it's smaller, so if the value that we're looking for is smaller than the value at the midpoint, it means it's in the lower half of the array. And what we want to do is, as we saw on the diagram, we want to move high down below to just one below mid. So high moves to that point, just go back to that diagram. Where is it here? Okay, so we were searching for say we're searching for 8. So we get mid. The key that we're searching for, which is called x inside the function, is less than 14. So we want to move high down to there. So down to mid minus 1. Which is what I've got right there. If the key that we're searching for is larger than the value of the midpoint, obviously it's in the upper part of the array. So, what was that? I don't know. In which case, we don't want to move low. We don't want to move high down. We want to move low up. So low moves up. We don't need to consider mid because we've already seen that the key value is larger than the value of the midpoint. So low is equal to mid plus 1. And the only other possibility, if it's not lower and it's not higher, then it must be equal. So we must have found the value that we were looking for. And we could take the easy option that we took last time and just say return 1 at that point. It would probably be easier to see everything if we didn't have all the comments. But, okay, so that's the idea. Lower starts at the bottom, higher starts at the top. In my diagram I call them low and high, and I've tried to do it here, and these things don't exist. Aha! Alright, let's take the easy way out. Call them low and high. I would have discovered that as soon as I ran the compiler. Let's line them up. Oh, but we need one more low. Instead of equal to high. Okay. So low tells us the bottom point of our focus, high tells us the top point. Each iteration of the loop we take the midpoint, compare the key we're looking for to that. If it's higher, then we go to the upper part of the array. If it's lower, we go to the lower part of the array. And if it's equal, then we found it. And if we ever reach this point where low and high cross over, it means that we didn't find the item that we were looking for in the array. Alright, so let's see whether that actually works. So let's try it on our small array first. We can search for 5, which we know is there, and it finds it. We can search for 6, which we know is there. We can search for 7, which isn't there, and it should say not found. We can search for 16, we can search for 32, we can search for 99. So it seems to be doing the right thing. You might say, hey, what's the big deal? Linear search did the same thing. Now, the reason we're interested in binary search is that once the array gets large, it's a hell of a lot faster than linear search, which we can demonstrate if we add some counting. So I've got a different version, search 4, which is essentially the same code, but instrumented to count the number of comparisons that we do. So let's crank it up to 1,000,000. Is that 1,000,000? No, it's 100,000. Good point. You can't have random ordering, so you can can see it's only showing the first 15 items, but they're in ascending order, so hopefully the rest of the array is in ascending order if it was generated correctly. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 comparisons, and it wasn't found. 1, 2, 3, 5, 20 comparisons, and it was found. Now, just for the sake of comparison, let's go back and have a look at the same thing. And this time, just to make the comparison fair, we'll even sort the array in ascending order. So it should be the same. What are you doing? Right, the same bunch of items. And we can search for 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a million comparisons. So compare 20 versus a million. Not bad. What about 1, 2, 3, 5? 609 comparisons versus 20 comparisons. And 9999, I think was one thing that we searched for, is a million comparisons not found. What was the one that was found? I thought that was there. Interesting. It's pretty tricky here because we don't know what's at the top end of the array to discover whether we can find them or not. But anyway, we'll just restrict our attention to this stuff, that 1, 2, 3, 5 took 600 comparisons here, even though it's relatively close to the start of the array. If we're starting to look at stuff near the end of the array, then that's going to be a bit of an issue. And it takes 20 comparisons here. So binary search, if the array is sorted, is a hell of a lot faster in general than linear search. Yep?
Your linear search array only has 100,000, not a million.
Oh, is that what the trouble was? Thank you. Alright. Let's. Right. Right, fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was that the one? Yes, alright. So that would take, oh, we didn't try that for binary search. That's a nice example. So 500,000 comparisons. Let's try binary search. Comparisons. It's a bit weird that it keeps coming out as 20. I guess that's just coincidence. I hope it's not a bug somewhere. I've got to try something else. What's in that? A mid-range one. If I knew exactly what the element was right in the middle of the array, I could do it in one comparison, but I don't. Of course, if we're talking a linear search, and I search for 3, hey, one comparison. Aha, good point. If we do binary search and search for 3, 19, thank goodness it wasn't 20, finally. 19 comparisons, okay, so that's a bit worse, but 19 versus 1 as opposed to 20 versus 500,000, you can see that on average, binary search is going to perform much, much better. And in particular, for items that aren't in the array, it zeroes in on where they might be and discovers that they're not there much quicker than linear search, which has to scan the entire array. Now, of course, for linear search, if we happen to know that the array was in sorted order, we could optimize it a little bit and say, as soon as we find a value that's larger than the key, we may as well stop because we know that it's not going to be further up the array. So you could do a little bit of optimization on linear search. Now, where does the 20 come from? I hear you say, and that looked kind of like the worst case. I don't think it's going to be any worse. You're not going to find anything more than 20. Maybe you might find 21, 22. Where does that value come from, or how can we work that out? So if we go back to our search stats, obviously the best case is still going to be 1. If we happen to search for the element that is at the midpoint of the array, it's always going to take a single comparison. The worst case, we didn't actually check. In fact, we've only been checking for a million. It turns out that the worst case, you can derive it pretty easily by thinking about the way the algorithm works. So you start out with a whole array, you split it in half, then you split it in half again, then you split it in half again, then you split it in half again, and eventually you end up with a single item, or they cross over. So how many times can you split something in half until it reduces to 1? And you're waiting for me to tell you the answer. It's log to the base 2 of n. So the worst case is log 2n. The best, the average case is also roughly log 2n. Okay. So if you think about log 2n of 10,000, it's not that big. Think about log 2n of a million, it's obviously around 20. Log 2n of 100 million is should be about 26, 25, no, 26, 27. So it's going to grow relatively slowly compared to linear search, which is going to go to 100 million and so on. So the average case for, because of what you're doing, the way you're dividing things in half all the time, how many times can you divide by 2 before you reach 1? Log 2. Alright, so that's a very quick introduction to performance and what we would call complexity, algorithmic complexity. Alright, so that's 2 kinds of searching. So we've got an array of items, we want to find whether something's there. We could use linear search, and we have to use linear search if the array is not sorted. If the array is sorted, then we have a much better option to use binary search. Alright, next thing to look at is sorting. And so sorting is useful, well, for one reason you can think of, that if the array is sorted, you can search it much faster. So if you take the array and make it sorted in ascending order, then you can use binary search. But that's not necessarily the only reason you want to search you want to sort an array. Maybe you just want to maintain the array in sorted order, so when you list it out, you can see what items are in it more easily. Sorting turns out to be an extremely common kind of operation in computing, and what sorting algorithms do, they basically ensure that the array satisfies this property here. So if we take any adjacent pair of items, the item on the left is going to be smaller than the item on the right. In fact, even if they're non-adjacent, that's going to be true. If I is less than j, then ai is going to be less than or equal to aj. Actually, the other thing I didn't mention with searching, what happens if you've got duplicate values in the array? Linear search will just find the first one, binary search will find one of them. If you've got duplicate values in the sorted array, they're all going to be next to each other. As soon as you hit one of them, binary search will return true. Alright, so sorting is basically talking about taking an array and rearranging the items in the array so that they satisfy that property there. Alright, let's take a look. I'll just jump into that's 100,000, that'll do. Bit of a delay. La-di-da-da-da-da. Oh. That delay might have just been generating the items in the array. That would be a bit disturbing. Now sorting, hopefully. Shouldn't have made it so big, should I? I will give it a few more seconds and then I'll make it slightly smaller. Alright, I give up. Whoa, look at that. Let's just stick to 10,000. Alright. Ah, interesting, eh? Alright, so now the sorting, all the sorting algorithms have two critical operations. Comparison, like we had before. Basically, you want to find out whether two items are in the correct order. So you've still got to do that comparison. And then the other operation that happens is because we're rearranging items, as soon as we discover that two items are out of order, we swap them over. And then the array is a bit more ordered than it was before. Alright, so sorting an array of 10,000 items that start out in random order. And here's another way of sorting 10,000 items that start out in random order. Fair bit of difference. Both sorting algorithms both produce the same result, but vastly different costs. That's a lot of comparison, and that's a lot, but a hell of a lot less than the other one. And similarly, number of swaps. So they were both sorting exactly the same array of random items, 10,000 random items. So remember that we tried to do the sort 2, we tried that with 100,000, it was taking too long. This one can handle it just fine. Let's try 1,000,000 just to make sure. That'll handle that. The other thing to notice too, of course, is that the sorted array comes out. We're only showing the first 15 items, but if we extrapolate, we can see that it has actually put them in order. If we really wanted to check, what we should do is get it to write out all of the items into a file, and then we could use the Unix sort program on that file and see whether the output from this program and the output from the Unix program were the same. And then we'd know that it was producing sorted arrays. Right. So let's take a look at these. So how many people have seen bubble sort? Oh, everybody. Oh, good. No, not everybody. But alright, let's take a quick look at it. So the way this bubble sort works is that, the way bubble sort works is that it scans across the array repeatedly, and as it scans, it tries to make things a bit more ordered than they were before. And basically what it does, it doesn't start from there, it actually starts from there. So it takes the ith item and the item before the ith item, and it checks whether they're in order or whether they're out of order. And if they're out of order, in other words, if they're out of order, we swap them over. So in this case, what would happen is we'd compare these two and we'd say, aha, actually I'll make a copy of that. So I'll do Alright, so we compare those two. No, I still want to move that down a bit. Alright, so we compare those two and we swap them over. So 7 goes to there, 13 goes to there. And then we advance I. I should be doing it on this grey down here. Alright, so we compare these two, they're out of order, so we swap. Move further. Compare these two, well they're in the correct order, so we don't bother swapping them. Now this first pass isn't going to achieve complete sortedness, but it's going to improve things a little bit. Right, so now we can compare this to this and we swap them over because they're, oops, I should have had that move up there. Now those two are in the correct order. Advance I, compare those two, they're in order. Compare those two, they're not in order, so we swap them over. Advance I. Compare those two. Oops. Swap them over. Advance I. Compare those two, they're out of order. Swap them over. Right, the array's still not sorted, but it's a little bit more sorted than it was before. Anything interesting we can work out from what's happened there? There is one thing that's guaranteed at the end of that cut.
Your largest number will go to
Yeah. So the largest element, no matter where it starts in the array, is going to be larger than everything else, and it will keep getting swapped until it reaches the end of the array. So we're guaranteed that this element after that first pass will be in sorted order. Alright, so bubble sort goes back to the start again. Oops, doesn't go there, it goes there. Compares those two, they're in order. Compares those two, they're in order. Compares those two, they're in order. You can see it's doing less swapping now because we managed to do a little bit of ordering before. Compares those two, they're in order. Compares those two, they're not. And swaps them. Compares those two, they're out of order, so we do a swap again. Advance. Compare these two, out of order, do a swap. Compare these two. In fact, there's really no point doing that comparison because we know 23 was the largest element and it's ended up there, but we can do that anyway. Alright, and that process just keeps going and going and going, and eventually 5 is going to drift its way down to the bottom of the array. You can see it's already moved a couple of positions. 17 is going to get pushed up to there, and after a number of iterations the array is going to be in order. In the worst case, we could iterate 9 times. So go through, and we guarantee that after 9 iterations, every one of the items is in its correct position. But it may happen that at some point along this process, we discover that we went all the way through the array and we didn't make any swaps. And if that's the case, what do we know? We know the array must be now in order, so we can cut off the iterations at that point. So that's what this swap thing is all about. So as well as making this test and doing the swap, we also increase this thing to indicate there was a swap made during this iteration across the array. The other thing that we could do is that we could keep reducing the endpoint each time. We could say, all right, there's no point going to 8, next time we only need to go to 7 because that element's already in the correct place. After this second iteration, there's no point going here, we can stop at 6 and so on and so on. So you can gradually reduce the end point of what you're looking at, as well as counting the number of swaps. Alright, so turning that into an algorithm is what's in. I'll close all these searching things off. Open first sorting. Network. Alright, so this should look familiar. This is what we had in the linear search algorithm. You say how many elements you want in the array and what order you want them in. You allocate space in the array, you add the values in, you print out the original array, you then call a sorting function, which in this case only needs two parameters. All we got to do is pass in the array and the size of the array. And remember that writing this, we're effectively passing in a pointer to the first element in the array. So if in the function we have a pointer to some object in the main program, then we can manipulate that object inside the function and the effects will persist when we come back to the main program. Alright, and then once the array is sorted, we print out the first 15 items and then we finish. Alright, so bubble sort. So it's got an index, obviously we're repeatedly scanning the array, and it's got a flag to tell us whether any swaps were made on the last pass across the array. So we initially set swap to 1 just because we want that while loop to execute at least once. Until we execute the while loop at least once, we can't tell whether the array is sorted or not. So at the start of each scan across the array, so this while loop just runs until we discover that the array is sorted. So it does a scan of the array. So inside the while loop, we initialize swap to 0. We assume that the array is going to be sorted and no swaps are going to be made. And then we iterate across the array, so there's standard for loop for iterating from, in this case, we're iterating from 1 to n. We can't start from 0 because we're going to go ai minus 1, and if I start from 0, then the first index here would be minus 1, which isn't a valid index. So we start the indexes from 1, go up to n, and compare adjacent elements. And if the elements are out of order, then we do a swap. That's the standard code for doing a swap, which we've seen a couple of times before. And we also need to remember that a swap actually occurs. So whenever a swap occurs, we set the value of that swap variable to be 1. So if we go through a complete scan of the array, and this condition is never true, it means no adjacent pair of items is out of order, therefore the whole array is in order. The other thing that's going to happen is that we'll never change swap to 1, and at the end of the for loop, swap will still be equal to 0. We'll go to the top of the while loop, swap will be equal to 0, and so nothing was swapped, so the while loop terminates. So the outer loop is really checking, is the array already sorted? The inner loop is doing the operations to make the array more sorted. Right, any questions on that? Good. Right, so that's the sort 2 program that I was running before is just a version of that where it counts the number of comparisons and the number of swaps. Alright, the next function, you notice we had sort 4. There's another sorting function. 3, which is the quicksort function. Once again, exactly the same interface. We simply pass in the array and the size of the array, and at the end of the function, the array pops out the other end in sorted order. So setting everything up, blah, 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 same as before. We call the sort function, and then we print out the hopefully sorted array at the end. Alright, so quicksort. Quicksort is a recursive function, or it's normally expressed recursively, and it actually comes in 2 stages. And when you've got recursive functions, it's often common, sounds strange. It's often the case that you have a wrapper function that kind of sets things up for the recursion, and then you've got the actual recursive function. So this thing that I've called doQuicksort is the actual recursive function. What the users see, so you can imagine we've got a library, there's a function called quicksort. If users want to sort an array, they call the quicksort function. The quicksort function invokes the doQuicksort function. So right down the bottom here, we've got quicksort invoking doQuicksort with the following parameters. So in fact, it's setting the low and high values to kick things off. Alright, so I've got another diagram to show how quicksort works. So let's take a look at that. So what quicksort does is that it kind of does, in the same kind of way that bubble sort makes the array a little bit more sorted each time. Quicksort also does that, but it does it in a way that's kind of 2 halves of the array, and probably at the end of a pass from quicksort, the array is a bit more sorted than it would be after a single pass from bubble sort. So the way it actually works is that we pick one of the values to be the thing that we're going to arrange everything around. And it just so happens that in this case, in the way that Andrew's written the algorithm, and I'll just copy what he's done, he's picked the middle value to be what's called the pivot. So the goal here is we want to first pass where we run through the array, and we make sure that everything in the low end of the array is smaller than the pivot value, and everything in the higher end of the array is larger than the pivot value. And the way we do that is we start scanning from each end, and we say, is this value here larger than the pivot? No, it's not, so we move I. Is this value larger than the pivot? Yes, it is, so we'll stop there. Then we come the other way with J, and we look at the Jth item and say, is that value smaller than the pivot? And if it is, we'll stop. And then what we've got is, down here we've got a value that's larger than the pivot, up here we've got a value that's smaller than the pivot, and we want those 2 elements to be swapped over, so that this small value is down this end of the array, satisfying that property, and this large value moves up to this end of the array to satisfy that property. So you can see what I've got in the final array here. I've swapped over 5 and 17. And then we continue moving these I and J indexes towards each other. So I moves up 1, J moves down 1, and we continue. So you kind of got to imagine that I'm dealing with the array down here. Alright, so 16 is larger than 14, so it stays where it is because it satisfies that property, and we can move J down. This is smaller than 14, so this element is in the wrong part of the array, not where it should be. Alright, so we look at this element, 10 less than 14, that's okay. Look at this element, 20 is greater than 14, so 20 is in the wrong part of the array. So they need to be swapped over. So you can see down here that we've swapped over 20 to 8. Right, having done that swap, we keep moving. So I goes up to there, J goes down to there. We compare this element with the pivot. Is it larger than the pivot? No, it's not. And so we advance I, should have left a bit of room there. We compare this value. Is that larger than the pivot? Yes, it is. So we move down. Is this value larger than the pivot? Yes, it is. Sorry, no, it's not. So we stop at that point. So I and J stop there, and we check, have they crossed over? And if they've crossed over, it means everything is sorted out. The pivot's in the right spot. Everything below the pivot is smaller than the pivot. Everything above the pivot. Had I already done? Yes. So I'd already done that swap of 8 and 20. So when these two indexes reach this point, this is the current state of the array. Okay? And so if the indexes moving in cross over, then there's no need to swap anything else, and we've essentially finished at that point. The pivot's in the right spot, so I've marked it in green. Everything in the lower part of the array is smaller than the pivot. Everything in the upper part of the array is larger than the pivot. So we've made progress towards sorting the array. Obviously it's not completely sorted, so what to do? So this is where the recursion comes in. So basically we take the two parts of the array that aren't yet guaranteed to be sorted. So we've got that part, and we've got that part, and then we want to sort them. How do we sort them? Hey, we're writing a function to do sorting. So we simply call that function we call the function on this part of the array and on this part of the array. And so that involves repeating that process recursively, finding a new pivot. In this case, the pivot is going to be this value here, simply because we take the midpoint, and if we've got an even number of items in the array, which we've got here, we've got 4 of them, then the midpoint is going to be the one below the middle, if you like. Here we happen to have an odd number of items in the array, so the midpoint is right in the middle. So then we're going to repeat the same partitioning process. Now this partitioning process is slightly more interesting. So 8 is larger than 5, so that's fine, it stays where it is. 10 is larger than 5, it stays where it is. 5 is not larger than 5, so we'd stop there. Is 13 smaller than 5? No, it's not. So we're going to end up, I should have moved this around a little bit. Let me just push that up and bring these down. So J would start from there, I would start from there. So first thing we do, we'd actually compare 13 to 5 and say, 13's out of order because it's larger than the pivot. J moves down, that's larger than the pivot, so it's in the right spot, or it's relative to the pivot at least. That's larger than the pivot, that's not larger than the pivot. So there's a little trick going on here with the pivot, that we're guaranteed that an index is going to stop at the pivot if we're coming down from, if we bump into the pivot, we're going to stop at that point. Alright, so we look at these two. I is greater than J, so that means we've got two items that are out of order, so we swap them over. So 5 would move to there and 13 moves to there. Right, if we go up to the top part of the array, I think if I scroll down we can see the final result. So 5, the pivot, has ended up in the correct spot. 14's in the correct spot. Now we've got to deal with this part of the array. Right, so the pivot is here. Once again, we've got an even number of items in this slice of the array. So that's the one that's going to be the middle element, if you like. Is that larger than that? Yes, it is, so we'll stop there. Is that smaller than 20? Yes, it is, so we'll stop there and we'll swap over 17 and 23. So you can see the result of that down here. And then we move I to here and we move J to here. Once again, we check, is this larger than the pivot? Sorry, is it less than the pivot. Either way, it's going to stop at this point. And 16, and is this element smaller than the pivot? Yes, it is. So J stops there. They're not equal, so we swap them over. Once we've done that, we guarantee that the pivot is in the correct spot. Everything to the left is smaller than, and everything to the right is larger than. And we keep doing that recursively on smaller and smaller chunks of the array, and eventually when you try to quicksort something that's got one item or 0 items in it, then there's nothing to sort and you're done. So that's the baseline of the recursion, and then it'll just backtrack out of the recursion from that point. So let's look at the code. So how do we know we're done? There's nothing to sort. So the do-quicksort function is going to sort a slice of the array starting from position low, index low, up to index high. Notice that we haven't passed in the size of the array because we're assuming that the values of low and high are going to be set appropriately, so they never go outside the bounds 0 to n minus 1. You can see that the initial starting values are 0 and n minus 1. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could pass in n, but you're just going to pass n in, down and down and down. Alright, so we're trying to sort a segment of the array from index low up to index high. If low is greater than or equal to high, what that means is that if it's equal to high, it means we're talking about a slice containing one element, and by definition one element is sorted. And if low is greater than high, it means low and high have crossed over, so there's actually nothing to consider sorting. So you can kind of think of that as a slice of size 0. So at that point, the recursion is finished. So we've reached a point where we've got such a small array that it's already sorted. Otherwise, we do what we're doing in the diagrams. I starts at the bottom of the array, which from your perspective is there. J starts on the top of the array, and they move towards each other. And each time we're comparing things to the pivot value. Okay, so first thing we do, we work out the pivot value, which is the value in the middle of the array. So we've got low here, high here, and the pivot point. So I and J move towards the pivot. At each iteration, they're checking whether they've got a value that's out of position. So if it's something below the pivot, it's got to be smaller than the pivot. If it's not, we stop there. If it's if J is coming down to the top of the array and it finds something that's smaller than the pivot, then that's out of position, so we stop there. And then we swap those two values over to increase the sortedness of the array. But we don't always swap them over. We only swap them over if there's something to be swapped. If I and J have actually crossed over, then we don't swap. And so once again you can see here's the swap, and then we move I and J towards each other. So once we dealt with these two elements that were out of order, one was smaller than the pivot, one was larger than the pivot, we've got them in the right position, we move in towards the pivot and keep doing that process. And we keep doing that process until I and J meet in the middle, and then we've completely organised the array to satisfy this property here, that everything in the lower part of the array must be less than the pivot, and everything in the higher part of the array is larger than the pivot, and the pivot is in its correct position. And having done that, we recursively sort the lower part of the array, and we recursively sort the upper part of the array. And once we've done that, the whole array is sorted. End of story. We'll stop there and we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail.